close moments of how you have effects on other people. Let me tell you this. You don't always know how you affect other people, how they feel about you emotionally. And I've definitely have my fair share of making people feel very angry and aggravated with me through things that I have done in my life. And it's good to hear whenever I have something, unbeknownst to me on what I do, I have a positive influence in somebody's life. So a quick story. We were at the fair, this little community fair last weekend, and I was with my wife and kids. My wife works there the whole weekend. My kids enjoy being there the whole weekend. So do I. And I have a sweet tooth. And I needed to fill that hunger up. And so I went to a little sweet booth area. And I'm sitting there looking. The lady who's working the sweet booth says, "Hey, you're Adam. I know who you are." Very common phrase that I hear often, especially around school. My wife works for the school. My kids go to the school. "Great. I'm Adam. How you doing?" And she says, "Yeah, okay. I know your wife and your kids." She goes, I know a little bit more about you." I said, "Oh, really?" "Okay, what you know?" And she says, "Well, the other day, I go to St. Pius for Mass. You were over there at the church and you were in the confession line." 100%, yes. I'm a sinner. I go to confession. She goes, but what really sticks out to me is a few years ago. I don't think you remember this. This is her telling me. I don't know if you remember this, but when you would bring your little girls to school at that time, which I did at that time, you would stop off in adoration before going to school. I said, "I absolutely did." She goes, "I would see y'all in there." "Oh, that's great." And she goes, "This one time, this was during COVID, that the Eucharist was exposed. And one of my daughters, my youngest one at the time, who was not quite going to the school yet, comes in, and when we walk in and she sees Jesus exposed, she burst out, 'Jesus is here.'" And she said, "That just warmed my heart, and that has left an impression on me." I said, "Wow, man, that I don't remember. Thank you for reminding me. Now I'm going to remember it, hopefully, for the rest of my life." And she goes, "I've told that story to other people too, countless times." And I'm like, whoa. Like something that I was doing for my kids that somebody noticed, and it had an effect on them. And so I sat back and I'm like, man, I'm so glad she told me, because we never know things that we do that why would anybody else be watching me do that? And so I was able to go a little bit further and say, well, why I brought them there, why I go to confession and Mass, is because I want to be with Jesus. And I want them, my wife and kids, to be with Jesus. And I want them to have a relationship with him. And I don't get to say that side of the story, too often. Or even explain it wholeheartedly, but it opened up that door for me to say, well, this is why I do it. Not that she was just engaging in conversation. It was very sweet of her to say that, because it made me take a couple steps back, and man, a lot of people, I leave an impression of good. A lot of people, I leave an impression of bad. I'm not perfect. I'm human. I'm in business. I make decisions that have consequences to those decisions, good and bad. But I am also one to say, I don't know what's really good for me, and I don't know what's really bad for me. I'm going to tell you this right here. I know for certain, going visit Jesus and going to Mass and going to, that's all good. That ain't never going to be bad. I guess I can make it bad if I'm not wholeheartedly wanting to go because of that. But no, wholeheartedly, I'm telling you, I want to go to be with Jesus and to know more about him and to have a relationship and to express that to my wife and kids, so they want the same thing, and that one day when this life is over with for me and over with for them, they can go, they Jesus will say, I know you, yeah, come right on in, you know. So I thought that was super sweet. And when I sat down and told my wife this, she goes, yeah, yep, I've definitely heard. She's told me, you know, this. I didn't tell you. She told me this. I said, oh, man, just made me feel good. She goes, you know, and do you remember this guy? And it's and who my wife was referring to is a guy that got killed while in the military serving our country. And she's like, that's his mom. And so I start thinking, she's got to be in adoration and masses still for the same goal that I was with why I brought my kids in there. She wants her kids to go to heaven, and she has already lost one. So she is praying for him to go to be in heaven with Jesus, and he's already gone. Boy, it just made me get a little bit deeper on that thought train. So you never know what you do, how it's affecting other people. And even if you're affecting them in a bad way, perceivably them seeing it in a bad way, or even you seeing it in a bad way, the goal is to find where Jesus is at in that circumstance. Sometimes it's as beautiful as the story that I just described to you, that I thought was awesome and great to know. But sometimes it's not as wide open. But when you reflect at your life and the different circumstances that you're in, and you're always looking to find Jesus in them, he's there. And through the ups, downs, and all arounds, you know. So I wanted to share that. That was the little moment of the day. God bless.